Lynn University and Watson Institute student bryanNakambonde, a martial arts champion, human rights activist, and now leader of a broadcast media nonprofit organization, UMWE, has been developing a solution for the lack of information and political action across the African continent. UMWE provides short-form news for young adults to engage, inform, and inspire high-level conversations for political action.
What's happening is that the news industry of Africa and many other news industries around the world are not delivering news in the way that engages the youth. So that's what we're doing, and part of our 50-year plan is exposing to the youth to the day-to-day happenings around African issues.
While growing up in Namibia, Bryan heard about the stories about how racial tension, economic crisis, and corrupt politics were able to take root across southern Africa.
My grandfather was one of the first black successful businessmen in Namibia during the apartheid era. And my grandmother was an aspiring businesswoman who saved up money to build a better house for their family. However, my grandfather was assassinated, and my grandmother's money was taken away by the South African Army. So hearing about my grandmother and my grandfather, how they were both, my grandfather was killed and my grandmother's money was taken away from the South African government, it really highlighted the impacts of these two stories on my immediate family. I always think about what can I do to make sure that our independence and freedoms are protected and we progress as a nation.
Many people in Africa suffer from lack of clean drinking water, lack of education, extreme poverty, and racial injustice. But corrupt or inactive political environments perpetuate the social and economic challenges some African countries deal with on a daily basis. Bryan's family has dealt with the aftermath of racial injustice and lack of access to education during the apartheid.
My father's brother suffers from extreme PTSD because he was actually with my grandfather when a bomb was set off to kill my grandfather. And on my mother's side, a lot of my mother's siblings didn't receive education of any sort because they were no longer having funds to continue with their education. This really exposed me to the intricacies and what it means when a whole society is not aware of what is going on and isn't actively participating in solving these problems.
Bryan is an intelligent and determined changemaker who has inspired people both in the African continent as well as the United States. While at the Watson Institute, we spoke with the Director of Programs, Tyler Turnabin, about Bryan and his organization, UMWE.
So, bryanNakambonde is a Watson Scholar here at Lynn University, and it's been an absolute pleasure to work closely with Bryan. Since the day that I met him, I felt that he's been an incredibly driven young professional who's really dedicated to making an impact in his mission area. I have incredibly high expectations for Bryan, and he just continues to grow and evolve beyond even my expectations in the program, and I know that he'll make a tremendous impact on the world.
A shift has happened, and young adults get their news in a different method in the digital age. And a new solution is required to inspire and educate young adults in Africa to take action to build a better future. UMWE is a great solution to educating young adults on the issues that they face in their country and their continent. This is Chris San Giorgio, and thank you for tuning into iPulse News.